Well, it's always fun to welcome a new club on our show. And this club's been around for a couple years, but the first time we're going to get a representative on. This is Kathy Fink with the Handbell Legacy Club.
Right.
Welcome very much.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah. So tell me about your background. As you've started this club a couple years ago when you moved here, and your kind of background with the bells themselves.
I'm kind of a handbell addict, which you find from people that start clubs and want to do a lot with bells. So I have my own set. This is from my set. And I just came here and realized there was no handbells in the community, and I thought it would be fun to bring other groups into the community to ring for our residents. And I found out in the process of starting this group, this club, that there's a lot of people that have rung handbells in the past, and so they just jumped on and they wanted to hear them again. And since I'm bringing this Linda Krantz to the Clubhouse 7, they're all excited about coming to hear a handbell person who is a soloist, which is quite unusual.
So how did you get involved with this? My
family. My dad in 1959 was one of the early handbell believers. We lived in New York at the time, and handbell started in New England. And so he saw a group play in New England and decided to buy his own set. So he was a handbell musician himself. I mean, he was a music musician himself from the church. And he ordered them from England, and they came 2 years later when I was about 9 years old. And because he had then transferred to another church as a as a music choir director, he said, well, I'll take the bells with me. And so I started learning when I was 9.
Wow.
And so I've been playing a long, long time.
Now, when people think of handbells, I think you think of the holidays, you think of church music.
Usually think of Christmas. They're very popular at Christmas. That's why we try, as handbell ringers, we try to help people realize that you can play Handel and Marconi and Favre like Linda's doing on May 15th. And we just try to get people to realize that handbells can go all year around. And they can play a huge variety of music. I had just listened to your symphony people about Valerie saying it wasn't too late to start an instrument. And I thought, you know, the nice thing about handbells is they're maybe easy to ring, they're difficult to ring well. But they're easy to ring and to start with, and they're always in tune. You don't have to worry about playing out of tune within your symphony. They're always in tune, and if you don't sing, it's a nice thing to start too. So maybe someday here in the woods we'll have a handbell choir. My problem isn't that I don't have the bells and that I don't have the music. My problem is I don't have the space. You know, you have to have a place you can store the bells, and that's...
Well, you have, this is your set here. Now,
this is part of it.
Is this part of it? What is a full set?
61 bells is the full set.
So they're all like spread out?
Yeah, they're all spread out on a table. They're usually, the handbell ringer that's coming on the 15th who does solo ringing by herself will set it up like a piano keyboard. And then you just have to hope that you have more than 2 arms so you can move very
that's what I was going to ask. I mean, how do you possibly, because you can only...
She moves very fast on her.
You can only have one in each hand, right?
Or there's at a time, you can actually have 2 in one hand.
If they're small?
If they're small.
Right.
So there is a technique that lets you play them in 2 different directions.
Wow.
Now the difference in handbells from a school bell, you know, as a school bell, you just go like this and it rings. Well, a handbell has a clapper, which is away.
Let me grab one. I'm just going to point it to the camera. I don't know if they can see it here.
It has a clapper that is away from the edge of the handbell, and in order to get a tone, you have to overcome the spring that's in the bottom of the clapper.
Okay, because when you put these out a few minutes ago, before we got on camera, I said to you, why aren't they ringing?
Right.
Because any other normal bell, you just pick up and it's ringing all over the place.
So you have to overcome the spring and ring it hard. Do you want to try it? Yeah.
Wow. I did.
He did it. And you got the perfect outfit on now, because with your purple tie, I think you could
Do you hold them up or down? Or
you always hold them up.
Oh, you do? Okay.
We used to say, Presbyterians don't spill the wine. As Baptists, I guess you would say, don't spill. You don't want to be going like this, you know. Don't spill the water.
So these, I assume, are they brass?
They're brass. They're 80% copper and 20% tin. Which is called bronze. When you're done, and and they tarnish very easily. So
I know. I grabbed the outside of one before we got it.
He went and put his fingers all over it, so now I have to polish them when I get back. But, you know, they do tarnish, and so I usually wear gloves just because I don't like polishing.
Right.
But you really don't need to wear them.
So I have to ask, when you have a full set of these, they have to be pretty costly to get because these are just so precision.
Yes, they're precision made, and the whole set probably today runs about $17,000.
Wow.
So it's the price of a good Steinway piano, but like my dad used to say, but you can have 12 people, 15 people on a set. So when it breaks down to how many, you know, per person is going to be the cost, it's well worth it. And you can use more than one set, more than one group of bell ringers at one time.
So is that common? I mean, you told me that Linda is a soloist.
She's a soloist.
But is it more common to have maybe 4 people on a full line?
It's more common to have 12 people in a handbell group, 61 bells. There are many groups that do that. There are fewer solo ringers, but in the recent years, solo ringing has become quite popular. And the reason is because a lot of the handbell groups have fallen off from the churches. You know, when bells first started in the church back in the late 50s, early 60s, they were bought into the church mainly for junior high boys. When their voices were changing, they wanted to keep the boys in the church. So they bought in handbells, and that was how they started. You had a lot of young teenage boy choirs in the church. And then the girls got interested, so they had a lot of high school groups. So in the early 60s, I would say early 60s, late 60s, they were almost all high school youth groups. And then we went to the adults saying, well, I'd like to ring. And so then in the 70s and the 80s, the adults started. And then some of the choirs that had one or two great ringers, but the rest were average. And they said, well, let's get together all the great ringers. So then they went to community choirs in the 90s, and that was where all the great ringers from all the different churches and symphonies and stuff came together and formed some great groups. Now, Linda is a member of the LA Bronze Group. She started up in Pasadena, and that group is quite good. It's semi-professional, and that's all the great ringers from the area. Well, then you get people that just want to be divas, and then they become solo ringers.
Well,
so she's a diva.
I think this is really neat that you started this. Something very unique.
I'm excited because it's kind of a win-win situation. I mean, what we're doing for Linda is we're donating to the foundation, the Laguna Woods Foundation. So we're your $5 donation on this luncheon concert on May 15th at 12:15 will go toward the foundation. And so we'd like to support that. We're not making any money. We don't have any dues. We're a very loose-knit group. The only thing I do is put out on an email list any upcoming handbell concerts in the area. So like even Concordia has an alumni choir on May 19th.
How many folks are in your group, in your club right now?
Oh gosh, probably about 80.
Wow.
Yeah, just people that have just sent in email addresses.
That's great.
And then they promised me they're going to come to hear Linda. So I hope that is true. I hope that they'll show up. I hope so too.
So that is coming up next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
On the 15th at Clubhouse 7 from 12:15 to 1 o'clock. And you suggest a $5
donation that'll help the foundation.
All right. Great to have you on.
Great. Thank you.
I love getting new clubs on. And this is certainly something new to me.
Right. And maybe someday we'll have a handbell choir here that we can ring for you.
That'd be great.
All right.
Very good. Kathy, thank you so much. And we'll be right back. Remember, that's next Wednesday, May 15th, and we'll be right back. That is really neat.